Okay, so right now we're gonna do the final steps of the massage. So we start face down. We've done a lot of back, we've done a lot of arm, and a lot of neck. So having in mind what you've done already on the arm, this anterior arm is quite kind of like simple, right? And in fact, if you're doing a 60-minute hot stone massage, there's so many things that you do that you have to like get done in that time that I won't even do this part in the 60-minute, because you've done so much arm already prone that you don't really need to put it in. But when I have a 90 or a 2 hour or something like that, then I'll put it in. Or if they specifically request chest work, then I'll put it in. So we've done the back and neck and arms. We've done the posterior legs. We've done the anterior legs, and now we're going to do arms next, and then we're going to do the neck and face to finish. So you work your way back up. So I'll show you on this arm here. Go ahead and just get connected. Make sure that you have the drape folded down low enough that you have the clavicle and as much skin as you can showing without exposing any breast tissue, or too low on a man's chest even. You want it to be nice and appropriate in order to do the arm drape. So I just put my hands on top of the sheet and make sure that the arm is bent like so, with the wrist in and the elbow out. A lot of times they'll be laying kind of like this. So as I'm feeling the arm, I'll just kind of hold the wrist, give myself a little extra sheet, and just pop the elbow out, and then just kind of continue with this, right? All right, so the draping is quite simple. Again, you want it to be folded and clean and not billowy. And you know how arm draping can get weird. So I find the easiest way to do it is to just take a fold so that you only have kind of like the elbow skin showing. And then you tuck this edge of the sheet into the body, not this edge, it's too tight. You want it to be comfortable. So this edge, like an envelope, right? So this fold is gonna go down towards the body, just gently like that, boom, that's it. And then for a male, you can kind of do this to get it out of your way. Or for a female, you can take the back of your hand and tuck it like underneath like the side of the breast tissue and then up towards the armpit. But if you do that, just do it with the back of your hand confidently in one or two goes. Okay, so now look how nicely everything's just out of your way. Easy peasy, right? So, okay, Cynthia.
Okay, so standing at the elbow, we begin with the Balinese style effleurage. So one hand goes up to the deltoid, the other hand goes down to the wrist.
So these Balinese style effleurages that I keep giving you guys was something that was taught to me about 7 years ago. It was at Miraval Resort and Spa. It was actually in the Monarch Beach Resort, and it's no longer like even there. There's 2 Miraval resorts running now. There's Austin, Texas, and then there's the big one, which is Arizona, Tucson, Arizona, and they're building one in the Berkshires. So I stole this from that. I really liked it. I kept doing it. It's very easy, and here you go. So you're not really taking it from anyone. It's no longer even in California. So just get oil on your hands, standing at the elbow. One goes up, one goes down. And then switch. And then let's go ahead and come all the way around the whole arm. Coming down, keeping the arm bent. And then you can even get the hand a little bit. So it's just one effleurage. Good.
It says lift arm laterally to rest on table.
Great, so how are we gonna do that? Simple, simple, pick up the wrist, not right here, because you want it to be supported laterally on the table. Like this.
All right, so you begin using a medium stone, support the wrist as you change your range of motion.
Check range of motion.
Check range.
Yeah, this is a technique, so I'll put a little bit of oil on the chest because we're kind of now trying to get the pecs. So when we were prone, we already did a lot on the triceps. We did a lot on the biceps, And then with the stones and hands, and we did hand massage on the extensors. So we'll do stone here, stone on the chest, and just connect the chest to the arm. So there's not a ton of stonework, we've already done that. This is very, very hot. I'm gonna have to really heat transfer. Try to keep your heat transferring smooth as if it were part of the massage. Because there's so much of it that you do, right? Okay, so I think we might be okay. So if I think I'm okay, but I'm not sure, this is when you cool. So cooling is done very fast. And I'm just gonna look at the face for any signs of panic, or the hand. And since it's just Donald here, we're gonna just ask him, how is that temperature?
Great.
It's okay? You think we can slow down?
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. So now I have the cooling down side. I'm gonna avoid the sternum and I'm gonna avoid the clavicle, and I'm gonna use the small stone and just put a flat press down. And then once I get to the pec minor area, that scoop, I'm gonna hold it, and this is checking the range of motion. So you're just gonna very slowly rotate like this while pressing on that spot. It's just like you're checking their range of motion, but really what you're doing is opening the area up. You would avoid this if they have a frozen shoulder. Now we can flip, and then what's the next one?
Okay, so now you're going to secure the wrist, and presumably you would have had the elbow at the end of the range of motions at 45 degrees. You want to open that up to 90 degrees.
Yep, that's the next one. So after we check the range of motion, we're gonna flip, and then we're gonna slide out. So it says laterally out the pecs, but then also we're gonna go distally out of the arm. So as we do that, you can, as long as you go slow, okay, you can do any combination you want of opening and closing the arm from a 45 to 90 degree angle and sliding distally or laterally. Does that make sense? You can even like flip and kind of roll the arm towards you a little bit. We've lost all of the heat now. So remember how many times you need to change stones, because it's a hot stone massage, not a neutral stone massage, right? So these are hot. I'm going to uncover them and go to my next medium. These are quite hot. They've been heating for 50 minutes. So they'll hold their heat for a long time now. So I'm heat transferring. So I'm going to use my stone next, but without the stone, it would look like this. So you're going to come out while opening the arm, or you could go ahead and come up while opening the arm. My focus is a lot on pec major, pec minor, anterior deltoid, and its connection around the biceps brachii, this kind of like ropiness here. It just feels really good. So that's kind of my main focus. How's that? It's a little hot.
For cooling, it's fine.
For cooling, it's fine, yeah. So the faster you go, the less heat they're gonna feel, right? So cooling is really done if it's too hot. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and go out. It's still pretty hot, so I'm gonna move. I'm not gonna flip because it's still hot. And then as long as you go slow, you can kind of work your way along the biceps like this. And depending how big and round their arm is. If it's like a long, skinny arm, I might not have to do this so much, whereas I might just come straight out. And remember, stone massage is not deep pressure. That's when you can get into hurting people. So you're still using a nice medium pressure here. So any combination of opening and closing, as long as it's slow, checking of the range of motion. So you're starting your location, pec major, pec minor, and then out. Because we're specific, okay? And then next.
Great. Great, so once we complete the proximal arm, we move on to the extensors.
All right, so here's the fun.
Medium hot stone and then chase with a small cold stone 4 to 5 times.
So remember how we did this on the tibialis anterior and fibularis muscles? Here we go again. So we learned last time, right? We can't have too cold of a stone. So what's the difference in temperature needed for flushing? 18 degrees. So presumably if these are at heat, it's about 120 to 130. So really this could be 100 degrees and still make a difference. So think about how cold it might feel. You don't want to, when you get into cold water, I prefer the word flush over shock. You know, like shocking your system, I like the word flush better than that. So let's try to avoid a shock with it. So I'm literally taking my hot hands and like warming this ice cold stone. So it's not, it's more confusing to the muscle rather than shocking. I don't want to shock it. So for this, you need to get, oil on your stones. And you need a nice slippery slide for this because we're just like the distal leg. We're going to do the same. We're going to just kind of roll on. I'm going to try not to touch. And then I'm going to roll on behind, leaving an inch or two in between. And then I'm going to peel off. And then I'm going to peel off. And then flip and repeat, right?
45 times.
4 to 5 times, not 45.
45 times.
45 times. So, a little bit of your fingers can touch, but I try to just make this, it's something really nice about just having the stone kind of do it. So if you slide on like this, and then you slide on again, and then you chase. Again, this is one of the last things you're going to do. They're super hot. They're like, this is going to feel really good. Flip, do it again. And that's all we're going to do here because we've done massage here already while they were prone, remember? All right. And then what's next?
We're ready for our hand work. So we
Yeah.
start massaging the wrist using the palm and thumb.
So that's nice if you take your thumbs in between the two wrist bones and just kind of, hold and press up. Feels really good. Focusing on the retinaculum, and then palm as well feels really nice. I find that adding in the wrist, adding in the fingers and the toes and the ankles and the knees, those little details kind of really give the massage a lot of oomph,
And then it says the intention here is to create a carpal tunnel
Okay.
by using your fingers and your thenar eminence.
Perfect. So thenar eminence is this large thumb muscle, which gets really buff when you start massaging people. And then you're going to wrap your fingers around and just create a carpal tunnel. So your carpal bones should naturally create a tunnel. Carpal tunnel syndrome is the flattening out of the bones, so we just want to create the carpal tunnel. It just feels nice for generally everybody. That's what I find. Okay.
And then finally, we just gently massage each finger.
Each finger, yep. So I like to do like little twisties, get each joint. I like to work my way. Whatever you want to do is fine, as long as it's gentle and not too aggressive. Doesn't have to take too long either. And then placing the hand back down as in this angle again. So you still have the wrist in. And then you could just redrape, or if you want to do a little effleurage, you can. And then redraping with this drape is so easy because you just go like this, like this, like this. Ta-da. So that's done for the arms, so we can start a new video for the neck. So you go to the other side.